Hi everybody. It's very exciting to be here with Hartmut Wuebbeler this morning in his London Bridge therapy rooms. And Hartmut, you're going to share with us a little bit about your fascination with body-mind, and also to just share with us too the journey that you've taken from the world of being a biologist and pharmaceutical marketing researcher into this field of complementary health. So first of all, I'd love to know more about the inspiration behind this shift of focus from something very mainstream to something very, very different.
Well, it was a gradual process. While I was still working as a biologist and then in pharmaceutical marketing, I developed an interest in holistic therapies, the general complementary field, and started doing a first training in holistic massage, did a small training in aromatherapy, did some Indian head massage and various other disciplines. And at the time practiced only on a very small scale. I didn't make it my main profession. It was more of an interest really. But the more I got to know about different things, I developed a deeper interest and also wished to work with people in a more direct way. So when I then eventually came across Gerda Boysen's work in biodynamic body psychotherapy, I read about it and then decided to try it out as a client, have some sessions of body work myself. And as that went on, I realized more of the psychological impact that had on me, without necessarily having to talk about issues. That was also fascinating about it, that it helped a transition and a transformation without analyzing my past or events that had happened. So that fascinated me. Oh, how does that happen from body work? And then I did some introductory workshops and decided to do the training, and was also very lucky because a big chunk of my training was actually with Gerda herself, who had been based in London since the 60s. So that was also interesting to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Fantastic. And you were telling me earlier that it's actually a 5-year training. That's a substantial commitment, isn't it, of time and financial investment. And I'd love to know about what challenges you might have faced in order to follow this, because I sort of feel like it's really quite a passion, even though it might be quite a quiet passion.
Yes, at the time it was 5 years. The training I'm now involved with the London School of Biodynamic Psychotherapy as a trainer myself is a 4-year course, the workshop program. But still it's a long process. And to me a big part of that is that as a trainee you have to go through your own process. The factual academic learning, could be much quicker, but you have to embody it, you really have to absorb it, you have to go through the experiences. And that is a big part of the learning process as well, how I see it.
What do you most love about this work?
Oh, I suppose there are lots of things. One aspect is it's always interesting, because every person is different, every body is different, how each person holds their memories in their body, in their posture, how they move, how they breathe. Everybody does that differently, and how to see people getting more in touch with that and opening up possibilities where they get in touch, they find new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, and also new ways of relating to the world, how they experience themselves in the world in relation to others. So it's both the internal work that we do, but also of course how that then reflects on how we are with friends and families or in the wider world.
You also were telling me, I was so fascinated about the whole body-mind connection, and how it's really easy in some therapeutic modalities to stay very much in your head, so that you're actually slightly removed from from the emotion and sensation of the trauma, if you like. And then there are also the other side of things where you can just have the body work and you can just stay in there, but actually it's this marrying of the two that seems to really create transformation from what I'm getting from you. Is that right?
Yes, I would agree with that, I suppose.
So from that, what is it that you most love your clients to experience? And really, in a way, what is the end result that you'd most love them to get?
Well, I suppose I'd first backtrack a little bit more, because in a way that also reflects my journey in it all, in that I was a scientist, so I was very much sort of functioning intellectually, but then got interested in complementary therapies. But I also got very interested and involved in movement, in dance theatre and physical theatre. So I started to learn to relate to my body differently and experience my body differently. So I went through that process in a different way, not in therapy itself, but learning to relate to my body and living in my body in a different way. And I'm sure that had a big impact in my interest in complementary therapies and wanting to bring it together. Also, if you really look at it, any thought, any emotion, any feeling is not just happening in our minds. It is a physiological process in our bodies in that moment, but also how we hold memories. The ways that we hold our body, our posture, is a reflection of our whole history, really. And for example, in the hands-on body work, if I work with the client's elbow, for example, I'm not just working with the bones and muscles there. I know that I'm meeting the whole person in there. I'm working and experiencing their whole experience that is held there. So it is a very different attitude, really. And also, some people who are so very much working on or functioning on a rational intellectual level, they might have a lot of understanding, they might have analyzed themselves in a great depth, have a lot of understanding, but they find it difficult to move out, to shift out of their emotional patterns. So bringing the body and mind together is really important.
If you were to offer, just in a nutshell, a word of wisdom or words of wisdom to anyone watching this about that body-mind connection, what would it be, Hartmut?
In a way, it's really triggered by your question, listening to your body's wisdom. Because our bodies know what we need to do. We might be cut off from it, but if we learn to be more in touch with it, then the process of unfolding emotionally and followed by intellectual understanding will come in itself and in its own pace. We don't have to impose it from the outside. It's an unfolding from within.
That sounds like a really beautiful journey and one that you take people on. And I really want to thank you so much for your time today, Hartmut. Thank you.
Thank you.